Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm going to keep going. I will continue to keep going with my theory. You can call it my, I don't know, settlement theory, whatever. I believe this case is over. Let's call it my "it is over" theory. No, that's not catchy enough. What could we call it? How about game over theory? Game over theory. That has a good sound to it. All right. Look what's happening to the price of XRP right now, folks. XRP is the best performing out of the top 100 digital assets on CoinMarketCap. It's doing the best, almost 8% in the last 24 hours. And I'm wondering if that, here, let me hit the old refresh button on Fiat Leak. And we're up over 52 cents, folks. And I'm just wondering if the markets are beginning to think the same thing I'm thinking. There was this article right here, XRP to hit $5, being the only asset to surpass Ethereum's market cap. Don't forget, XRP surpassed Ethereum's market cap back before all the shenanigans began. Let's not forget that. But I'm going to get to why, some of the reasons I've been thinking the way I'm thinking. But I'll tell you this: the things I can't talk about are, what's the right way to say this? I have heard rumors or trumors or things about potential meetings that have gone on that, in my opinion, I don't think would have gone on without this thing being over. That's about as far as I'm willing to go. Black Swan Capitalist says institutional utility of XRP is on the horizon, and this will shatter price barriers and propel this digital asset into unimaginable heights. XRP network activity hits record-breaking levels. Mega rally ahead. Ashley Prosper has updated everybody. You remember she did a Freedom of Information Act request to get any communications between the SEC and JP Morgan regarding Ripple or XRP or XRP. So they're giving her the runaround, and so I think she's gonna go down the legal route at this point. Now, you'll remember Brian Costello, and he said something interesting in reply to one of my tweets here. This guy's all about the China connection with regard to our government, as well as specifically to the SEC and the Hinman debacle. He says it's simple. If new SEC leadership, Gensler, Warren, this is his theory, that Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, they needed to be satisfied and appeased because they're thick as thieves. If they were to investigate, he's talking about Hinman's actions, including illegal meeting with Chris Lynn, he would go to jail. Hinman needed an amicable departure with Democrats, thereby avoiding any investigation into their concealing Chinese executives' capital market crimes and their manipulative actions to facilitate the Ether China IPOs. Now, so that's his theory that he's operating on here. And I don't know, maybe we'll find out if he has some further information on why he thinks this, but he's in essence saying that Gensler and Warren wanted the Ripple lawsuit, and that's what Hinman gave them in return for them not investigating Hinman and maybe Clayton. This is the email, or this is the meeting he's talking about. This is from John Deaton, September 28, 2022. And also not on his calendar, it's talking about Hinman's calendar, but agreed to over email a meeting between Hinman and Simpson Thacher partner Chris Lynn on 8/20/2019, the same day Lynn and Hinman's Chinese client Canaan had IPO business before the SEC. And here it is. On August 19th, 2019, Hinman emailed Chris Lynn, partner at Simpson Thacher, agreeing to meet on August 22nd after Lynn asked to report on what is going on in China while he was in the U.S. for NASDAQ meetings. Boy, does that look like some shady stuff, folks. And then we got this. John Deaton today, actually in a few minutes, says, I'm going to answer why no one has held the SEC accountable yet for harm it caused on library token holders or XRP token holders. After I explain it today, you will be really asking, why hasn't there been an IG or congressional investigation yet? You know why I think, folks? Because I think 3/4 of our Congress has been compromised by China too. That's what I think. I think we got some really bad, sick, awful stuff going on in this country. And we can only hope that the good guys are going to prevail. I believe the good guys prevail in the Ripple lawsuit. We can only hope that the good guys prevail in the larger war. This is just one battle. Whale chart. Speaking of China, now as I read this to you, don't forget. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried was meeting with the White House. Right now, they're going after the man in the White House and his son about their ties to China. And remember, FTX was meeting with the SEC, the CFTC, Congress, many Congress people, and the White House. And now we have this. Breaking, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried has been charged with bribery for allegedly paying $40 million to Chinese officials in order to reclaim $1 billion in frozen cryptocurrency. Now, I just want to take you through what my thinking is, because I keep saying, well, at the beginning of this, I said my game over theory. There's many reasons I think this is over. Just follow this. This is just one more. So, May 16th, 2023 is when James Filan puts out breaking. Judge Torres denies SEC's motion to seal the Hinman documents. There's a part of me that believes this, folks, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, it won't be the first time ever, and that's okay. But I don't think I'm wrong. I think something was triggered. I think that the SEC, I think it's very possible that Ripple's people and SEC's people had basically said, hey, all right, if they say that they're going to, if the judge orders these things unsealed, then we'll settle with you. I think it's possible something like that happened. Maybe not, but because the second that this announcement came out, remember the first thing we saw out legally from out of the SEC and Ripple was they both agreed, like a day or two later, they both agreed to the June 13th so that they could do their whatever. And I have to wonder, because of what's happened since then, if that put Ripple in the ultimate bargaining position that made Gary Gensler have to sign off on some kind of deal. Because remember, that was May 16th. What happens the next day? May 17th, Ripple announces that they've acquired Medico. And I said it in a tweet. Look at this. Pretend you're Ripple. You have $1 billion. They've told us they've got $1 billion in cash. The SEC was seeking $1.38 billion in disgorgement. Do you spend $250 million on Medico and drain 1/4 of your cash? If you don't already know what, if any, of that $1.38 billion you might have to pay. Not in my world, you don't. I play it completely conservative until I know what, if anything, I'm going to have to write a check for. This is one of many reasons I think this thing is over in a good way for Ripple. Now let's go back here to here. The very next day after they know that those Hinman documents have to be unsealed, you have to wonder if Ripple then knew, because something was signed off, some type of a settlement. You have to wonder if that's the moment when Ripple knew that they could agree to this purchase of Medico and spend that kind of money, because you have to wonder if that's when they knew that they weren't going to have to write this monster check, or not as big as what it could have been to the SEC. And then what happens after that? That was May 17th. The very next thing you see after Medico, in terms of, you see that they're going to showcase a CBDC thing with Hong Kong Pilot. But the big thing we saw was this. We saw on May 19th, 2 days after that, that they get a CFO from CFO of Amazon goes on the board, and he's on the audit committee. And what did I show you? When you IPO, one of the first things you want is a good CFO, or maybe a guy on your board of directors that would act as a very good consultant who has major CFO experience to be on your audit committee as you lead up, as you've been released to go towards IPO. And by the way, wouldn't SEC not giving us a hard time about going to IPO be something that would be in a settlement too? Then what happens shortly after that? You get the you had Monica Long come out and make her comments about those emails. You had Brad Garlinghouse come out, and then you also had the announcement, future of central bank digital currency. We had it was an announcement, I missed it, but anyway, it was the announcement about this new CBDC platform. So those are just several things that I kind of pieced together. Then by May 25th, we've got Charles Gasparino. Now remember, and see, if you have a settlement, because I've listened to these attorneys, if you have a settlement, it only applies to Ripple and to XRP. That's the way I've understood it from these attorneys. That would explain what Charles Gasparino is saying here about how Gary is now gearing up and he's flogging his staff to file all of these lawsuits. This is May 25th. So if that's what it was, I'm not saying that they did settle, I'm just saying it feels like it's over. If they did, would explain this.
And here's where it may come from an old friend of the crypto industry, Gary Gensler. So here's what we know from, I'm saying that sarcastically. Here's what we know from securities lawyers who represent clients that are under the gun in the crypto industry. What we understand is that Gensler is preparing essentially what has been described as a second leg of enforcement actions against the industry. It's been described to me from these same lawyers. Again, these are securities lawyers. A lot of them used to work at the SEC. You know, that's kind of how it works. You work at the SEC, then you go into private practice. What they're saying is that he's flogging, that's the word I heard, flogging his staff to bring crypto cases, and bring a lot of them following the FTX debacle. He thinks he...
Is it following the FTX debacle or following the May 16th thing with the Hinman documents that triggered something ending this case? James Filan, when they were done filing all of their briefs, he put this tweet up. It's pinned on his profile. Now we wait. My question is the waiting over? That's a thumbnail. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and ask your friends and family. I'm writing it down. Is the wait... I got it. That's too many words. Is wait over? Question mark. Thanks for listening.